Hello, good evening, and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Hope everybody is well. Welcome back after your operation, Anne-Marie. Hope it's okay for you. Good evening, Stanley, and good evening, Paddy, and good evening, everybody in the chat. First off, just like to offer our condolences to Bobby Charlton. You know, there's more to life than football and rivalry. Very, very sad news indeed. Good evening, everybody. So, City are back. Not that we went away anywhere. I know who did go away. Anne-Marie, tell everybody how your operation went last week. Is there any big results?
No big results, Andy. Thank
Is
you.
it working?
Is it working? Oh, there's just no comment here. Well, I know. I seen you send the pictures in the WhatsApp group before. I'm sorry, I just couldn't look at I didn't know which way to turn my phone. Anyway, let's get straight into the football. Stan, City are back, my friend.
They never went away.
Exactly, mate. There was just always too much people just.
Are we still top of the league? Have we gone back to top of the league?
Yeah.
And where did the women?
Top of the league.
In the kitchen.
Oh, crisis. Crisis. Everybody's top of the league and we've not got out of October.
What did Paddy say then?
In the kitchen.
Oh, I thought he said something about women on top, but it's not even 9 o'clock. Jesus, where's this going already? Bloody Nora. Stan, it was always going to happen when not just Rodri come back, but I thought Stones yesterday was brilliant, as we was expected. The big surprise for me yesterday, and we got wind of it a little bit. There was a City Facebook group what said there was about 10, 11 o'clock yesterday morning that there was no Edison and no Diaz. They would not be in the starting 11 because they reported late back from international duty.
I mean, when you got a backup keeper like Ortega, and maybe it's okay to give Edison a rest. You might have a right back, but you don't know if the plane was late or what went on. You don't always know what's happened here. Maybe Pep dropped them because he didn't think they were good enough against Arsenal.
What, even Edison?
Yeah. He's like that, isn't he, Pep? Doesn't matter. If he's not happy with something, out it goes. Yeah. And when he's all right again, back in you come.
He did a bit De Bruyne, huh? He dropped him.
I'll be honest. I thought Ortega, he worried me a little bit yesterday with his distribution, because I'll tell you now, I thought we was absolutely fantastic in the first half. We was just exceptional. The passing was crisp. Thought Foden was just on a different planet. Doku's attacking abilities were brilliant. Gvardiol was exceptional. Kyle Walker was, there's so many good performances. And I thought the only time that
I thought Walker's passing was crisp.
Oh man.
He's on it.
And speaking of
straight red.
No, I thought the only time they came onto us a little bit in particular the first half was through how can I put it, Anne-Marie? The kicking abilities of Ortega.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. I'm gonna disagree with your description of how Walker played. I think Walker wasn't quite sure what to do yesterday. He didn't want to bomb forward because of Homo or whatever his name is. And he got caught a couple of times, and but I would agree, Ortega's passing at times was a bit dodgy. But on the whole, I thought, it was good to have Rodri and Stones back, because I think they made a massive difference to how we played yesterday. And I thought Doku tore Milner a new one, thankfully. I was delighted. Milner should have been sent off the pitch, I think, to be honest.
He actually had to go straight to a Tameside general after, because he had whiplash from Doku turning him inside out.
I'm not surprised. But it was a totally different game in the second half, and I'm not sure what changed with us in the second half that made it like that. I think we should have been more than 2 up at half time, but overall it was a good solid performance against a decent team. And I will say Brighton are a decent team.
See, you've just answered your own question sort of there, Anne-Marie, and I was just going to touch upon it with Paddy there. We can't dominate a game for 90 minutes, especially against a team like Brighton, because, yeah, we absolutely... And historically, we seem to beat Brighton on paper quite easily. But when you actually analyse the matches, they always run as really, really close. Last season at home, they was without, in my opinion, they was without shadow of a doubt that the best team to visit the Etihad last season. 3-1 flattered us. They always do well against us. So they was always going to come into it a little bit.
You're right there, Andy. And I think it brings in one of the things, what happened to Walker. De Zerbi's a very, very good manager. He figured out at half time that if he brought in Mitoma from the wing more into the middle, it was going to give Walker a bit of a problem. Does he follow Mitoma into the middle, or does he keep his shape and stay out wide? And you don't want somebody like Mitoma getting space. He did get space. Fortunately, he didn't score, but he did enough damage to give us problems. And I think that's that's a tribute to De Zerbi and to Mitoma. Well, like you say, when you play top teams, you're going to have a problem. You always will do. You won't have 90 minutes.
Something regarding Walker, and you've just hit a spot on point. Right, over previous weeks, people have been having a bit of a moan about Walker. Oh, he's too high up. He's not a right winger. La-di-da-di-da. Yesterday, we had, apart from KDB, a full strength team there, so we didn't have to have Walker playing right wing. He's only been playing that far forward because he's more or less had to, because of the players what we've had available.
Yeah, I mean, we need somebody in there to support the attacking, whoever's playing up front on the right. We weren't getting forward that far in the second half. So, like you say, Walker didn't have to get that far up the pitch. But his problem was, does he keep the shape out wide on the right, or does he come too far in, and then he gets overloaded? It's great us when we go forward and we overload, like Doku's been doing. We overload their fullbacks, but it's not so funny when they're doing it to us, which is the same with all teams. Nobody wants that. So he was left in a little bit of a no man's land, and we didn't really pick it up. But we've got through it. We've got the 3 points, and no doubt Pep will be there in his little Santa's grotto working with the elves to give us a brand new Christmas present so that we can go the second half of the season 20 odd games unbeaten, as we normally do.
And that's it, Paddy, and it's what are we 9 games in or something now? 10 games in, something silly like that. And we went the first 6 games we won, which is unlike City, at the start of the season. And we've done that with a patched up side. we're now in a position where there's only KDB, who's back in training, by the way, which I don't want him rushing back, because we don't need to. I think Alvarez has been a sensation this season. I really, really do. There's a lot of talk, on other channels about when KDB's back, that straight away Alvarez will get dropped. I don't see that.
I actually think Alvarez will prolong KDB's career because he's not had to play as much matches. In terms of Ortega not being good with his distribution and his feet and all this kind of carry on, what's his job?
It's been
keep the ball in the net,
and that's what he's doing as well. Doku got an assist yesterday, but Alvarez was putting himself in so many good positions. And as much as we all love KDB, I love him a bit. He's arguably one of, if not the best City player of all time. But he can go through 90 minutes and only do one killer ball sometimes. Sometimes he can't hit a cow's ass with a banjo from 2 yards. Alvarez, he keeps chipping away. So if Alvarez is doing what he's being told, which appears he is doing, how could you? And I don't go for the dropped bit anymore. Anyway, and I always use your terminology now about locks and keys. I must have said it. I must have tried to educate this lad who sits here.
Here's a question for you, Andy. What position did John Stones play yesterday?
He played more midfield, didn't
he? I thought John Stones was absolutely outstanding yesterday. Like he's just fallen in that position. The way he's able to kind of execute Pep's plans, and that goes for them all. Like you're on about Walker being up too far forward. Walker's doing exactly what Pep tells him, because if he doesn't, he'd be off.
Yeah.
And that goes for them all. And I don't know how many players' interviews I've listened to now. I think Grady's was the latest one. He has a plan. You don't follow that plan, you will not be on the pitch.
Absolutely. And Marie, what was needed yesterday? And Pep did it, but there was groans where I sit in the family stand, right? Because Brighton was coming more and more into the game. Doku was wearing out a little bit. The ball was bouncing off him a little bit. It was needed for somebody to come on who can hold the ball, retain the ball. And he brought Mr. Jack Grealish on, who did absolutely that. But there was groans because Jack came on, because Doku was playing well. Doku did his best game for us, with that shadow of a doubt. But the game was crying out because for somebody to get hold of the ball. And that's
and I get that, and I agree with what he's saying. But I think, I don't know whether it was on here tonight or whether it was before we started recording, and Stan mentioned about the discipline within the team. And I think that's, highlighted a good point, because we've had, a couple of games where Alvarez has been booked for kicking the ball away. Rodri did it yesterday, and Jack might only have been on the pitch, 20 minutes, if that, 15, 20 minutes.
Not even that. It was a lot less than that.
It was a lot less than that. But in that time, he got booked for having a go at the linesman. The linesman was never going to change his decision. So just walk away from it. Don't get yourself a stupid booking. It's pathetic that we're doing that. It's pathetic that, Rodri had to kind of argue with the referee yesterday, because again, it's not going to change the decision. And we have to have discipline within the team. Otherwise, it's going to cost us further down the line.
No, I totally agree with you. And Arsenal are trying to copy us with absolutely everything, aren't they? They just copy. Even Arteta's trying to catch Pep's yellow cards up now. Arteta's on 2 this season. Pep's still just ahead with 3. So,
yeah, but see, you're saying, Andy, going forward, what is it? Every 5 yellow cards is a 1-game ban, is it?
Yeah.
at this rate, you could have 2 or 3 players missing because of that.
Yep, I agree. Joking aside, I agree. The discipline doesn't. But Stan had before we came live, Stan, enlighten us what you said, and we'll get to the Tony Cruz one in a minute, Iptris, because that's a great point. Stan, I don't know if it was a tongue-in-cheek what you said before we went live regarding they don't want to say one team dominating the league. Tell us what you said.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. The chairman of the Premier League, not the current one, he said he didn't want one team dominating the league because it's not good when you try to sell overseas rights. Germany suffer from it, France suffer from it, Spain do to a degree with their too. And it's a fair point. Teams or neutrals don't want to see the same team winning things year in, year out. Now, it's funny that I don't think we're any worse than we were last year when it comes to the discipline and what we're doing. And yet we seem to be racking up, bans left, right and centre. Pep's already had one. Who's won yesterday? Oh, God. Who's the kid in the middle who plays all right now and again? Rodri. We've lost him for 3 games. Now, it was nice in a way that at least he got arrested, played the other 57 last year. So, I don't know. You only have to look at, say, Liverpool and what's gone on there. They're not used to what's going on. They're wondering what's going on. Other teams are Everton. He was out yesterday, Sean Dyche. Wasn't happy with what went on. Why was Conte? Why was Conte not sent off? Because that was as clear a yellow card as you're going to get. It wasn't a sending off offence. Nobody's complaining about that, but it was a clear yellow, and Klopp knew that. He dragged him off within 30 seconds. So, is this another one of these rule changes that they're doing? That not everybody's quite agreed with it, and that some are trying to enforce it, and some are trying to not enforce it. Because it was Craig Pawson again on that Liverpool-Everton game. And we remember what he was like the other week. So I don't know. In the middle, the whole caboodle at the moment is just a shambles, isn't it?
Do you not think, Stan, that Liverpool have bought a lot of decisions, 50-50 decisions, because of what happened against Spurs? Refs are afraid to go against
the timing of that was perfect. Yeah, the timing of that was perfect because it came at an opportunity where there was nothing to talk about for 2 weeks, but the incessant carrying on of Liverpool about whatever it was that came into their head at that moment.
Did you hear the question Klopp had to answer after the match about that incident?
Yeah. I'd have asked him again and kept asking him to answer.
So those who've not seen it, the journalist or the reporter actually asked Klopp. They went basically in light of the dodgy was it sending off. Do you think that match should be replayed again? And Klopp was like, "Is that a serious question? And it's just like, has Klopp forgot what nonsense what he normally comes out with the press?
It's not nonsense, Andy. There's method in their madness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. He knows what he's doing.
Method in their madness.
He knows what he's doing. He knew the game wouldn't ever get replayed. But what he's done now is put enough pressure and psychological pressure on them to make every decision think, I don't know, poor old Liverpool. It's
just planting that little seed in it where Fergie used to be the king of that. You plant something in the authorities' heads and you guarantee you'll get decisions because that's the way it works.
Don't get us wrong. I mean, Pep, he's pretty good at it. He can hold his own. And if he doesn't want to answer something, he'll just can't be bothered with you, mate. Get on with just jog on.
Pep Pep doesn't like the press anymore, does he? Because he always pretty much takes the piss out of them now. Some guy about this the Graby, whatever he's called, on his press conference. But he went, "What do you think?" And he went, "He's a good-looking fella." So basically, he's just going, "Stop asking me stupid questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to give you stupid answers." Bit like me.
Well.
Yeah, just going back to yesterday's game, Andy, I think one of the other things that frustrated me was Rob Jones, the referee. I thought he had a shocker of a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think he let far too much go on, for Brighton's advantage, whereas we were getting pulled for every little thing. If we got pushed, it wasn't a free kick. If one of ours pushed a Brighton player, it was a free kick. And that was throughout the game.
But at the same time, Emery, Alvarez was lucky to stay in the pitch. Like, what was
he thinking? And I saw that, but you see, and unfortunately, Paddy, in the ground, there was a stop in play, but at no point did they let us know what was being checked or what VAR was looking at. But prior to what Alvarez did, the same had been done to him by a Brighton player. And again, nothing was looked at there. So again, it screams of one rule for us, another rule for everyone else.
James Milner shouldn't have ended that first half of football. Like I don't know how many yellow card offences he did against Douglas and got. I don't think he even got booked.
Right, from where I was, it might be different watching it on the TV and stuff like that. I think I remember that incident well, Paddy. I thought that was a good challenge, as much as I hate Milner. I thought that was a good, old-fashioned challenge. The one where he
struck his leg out backwards and tripped him?
Might be a different one then. there was one where I thought it was a great tackle, and that is what the game's missing now, that them kind of tackles, Stan.
No, he went past him and he pivoted and swung his leg out backwards, and Doku tripped over it. Otherwise, Doku was clean in, and he didn't even get booked.
Iptra says Walker was giving Matomo so much space, and it made him look silly in the second half. I think Matomo could do that to anybody, to be fair. Listen, if I'm being ultra picky about yesterday, I will say the only one for me was Ortega, who was a bit collectively. I was more than happy, especially the first half. When Brighton came at us, especially when they scored, I thought we then consolidated them and thought, right, and we steadied it a little bit. So you can look at it two ways. Brighton came at us, scored. We could have folded, especially the last it ended up 10 minutes in the end, didn't it? We could have folded after Akanji got sent off. However, we didn't. We totally consolidated it, and that is a positive for me, because there'll be games where we're going to be tested like that throughout the season.
But even their goal was lucky. Like, Akanji teed him up. Jesus Christ! It was just, I would have scored that goal yesterday that Brighton scored.
You could say Alvarez's was lucky, the way it sort of went dump.
Well, he scuffed it, yeah. If he had it cleanly, I say the keeper would have saved it. But Akanji teed him up perfect. All he had to do was touch it.
And Marie, there was I'd probably say about 15 minutes from the end, there was an incident, and I think this was a pertinent point as well, where down, it'd have been on your side, City's attacking left. There was chopping at Ireland, and Ireland was just going, see you later, see you later, see you later. And that was Ireland's equivalent of, let's get it in the corner flag. And, it got the crowd going again. And then after that, when we got goal kicks and stuff like that, instead of being right directly in the middle, Haaland pulled over to the other side to drag play away. Now, Ireland, although people seem to think he's not having a better, as good a season as last season. He scored 9 Premier League goals. Yeah, he's missed a hatful, but I think he's become an all-round better player.
61 goals in 66 games for City.
It's not even 1 in 1, though, is it? To be fair.
No, but you show me a player who's got a better scoring record.
No, but so let's talk.
I don't know what people are expecting of him.
He's never going to score the same ratio.
No, but if you look at his game as a whole, whether he's coming deeper or whether he's pulling out to the wings or whatever, he's doing more to try and create space for other players. Mm-hmm. And I think there were times yesterday, I think Doku had, like you said, his best game to date for us. But there were times when he could have passed because there was a number of shots in the first half where he's gone for the far corner. And from where I was sitting, it looked like they were near misses. But when you watch the replays, they were nowhere near ever going in. And I think Doku has to learn to pass a little bit more. I know he did for the first goal.
Somebody sent me something regarding Doku earlier, and I'm going to read it out because I think it's absolutely bang on. And it went like this, if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. And this is regarding Doku. If he can learn to finish off those cutting sides, he does so well. Sorry, if he can, I've not even had any beer this weekend. If he can learn to finish off those cuts inside, he does so well. Then we may very well have a seriously world-class player on our hands. I think that sums it up with Doku, and that's all going to be, Stan, in training more, Pep's methods, where Pep will turn him into that all-round player, because the poor lad had as soon as he come in, it was a Doku versus Grealish situation. Totally different players. Now, that'll come with the more they train, because at the moment they're not even really training with 3 matches a week. They're like match rest. That's only going to get better. You all right there, Stan?
Yeah, I'm just listening to you.
Oh, what have you done to your hair, Stan?
I've ruffled it and it's gone mad. Go on.
I forgot what I was saying now. So that
can cut it in. We could have a world-class player on our hands.
Yeah. Go on, Stan.
Yeah, no, it's right. But you've got to remember, winger is always the most difficult thing to do in a Pep team. Mahrez never really won over everybody. Grealish never really won over everybody. If you've seen City training and you've watched and seen what's going on, they have lines down the pitch, and Pep only wants a certain number of players in these lines as they're going forward and when they're coming back. And a lot of what we do is like 4 phases how we get the ball. We get the ball back, we prepare the ball, we then, get ourselves into a position to score, then we score. So that second to last step is always the most difficult. And because of the way we play, going down the wings and then getting the ball back into the middle, it's those guys that will have problems. They always do. And Doku is just started. He's not been here 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. He's not better than Grealish. He's not worse than Grealish. He's different from Grealish. And we need somebody different, because if we want to play one week against a team that plays one way, we'll play Grealish. If we want to do it the next week, we'll play Doku. If it's not working in the first 60 minutes with one player, we'll bring the other player on and give their defence a bit of something to think about. I don't understand how people can't see that, despite quoting that they've been going for 20 years. It's blindingly obvious. I just don't get it. Why have a pop at Doku, or why have a go at him, and why suddenly on the same side? Why suddenly say, "Oh, he's world class"? He's not yet. He's not either. He's learning. He's a young lad coming into a very, very, very good team. Funnily enough, champions of England, champions of Europe. He's not going into some mid-table team like United where you can do what you want and play left back and not get shown up. You've got to fit into that team precisely. Otherwise, Pep don't want you. It's looking like Phillips has unfortunately fallen foul of that. He can't quite do what he wants. Doesn't mean Phillips is a bad player. He'd walk into most other teams. It's just not that little bit short of what we need, and that is what we're about, and that is where we're at now.
I thought about that today, Stan, when I was watching the Villa match, that the David Luiz, or whatever you call him, in the middle of the park for Villa. Douglas, is it?
Dougie Luiz. He had a good game, eh?
He's fantastic for Villa.
Yeah.
But he's not just quite at the level where he would get in the R team. And I think that's where Phillips has fallen down. But if you listen to the comment that Pep made about Phillips, when the game is chaotic and it's chaos, he's very good at that. But look where he came from, that murder ball onto your man to the Leeds manager.
I tell you what we've got to stop doing. We've got to stop comparing any midfielder to Rodri. It's pointless. It's pointless. It's pointless because, whether it's Tony Cruz who comes in, whether it's Phillips, whether it's doesn't matter what player. You're comparing somebody to the best CDM in world football. You're not going to have that same level, and that proved it while Rodri was out. Because I've also mentioned, Anne-Marie, that before Rodri faced his suspension, everybody was drooling over Kovacic, and rightly so, and rightly so. But when Kovacic was more or less asked to do the Rodri role, he struggled massively because
he struggled. No, he isn't Rodri, and I think part of the reason that he struggled is because he didn't have somebody solid beside him. Now, that's not saying, because I think that's one of the reasons Kovacic and Rodri work so well, because you've got one that will do the donkey work and one that can play the killer pass.
Yep.
And that's why Kovacic was playing, he didn't have that alongside him. He didn't have that.
Stones.
Stones or...
But Stones was out at the time, so...
No, that was just unlucky. That's exactly what Anne-Marie was saying, that he's unlucky in a way that he didn't have Stones next to him.
Exactly.
It's nobody's fault. It's just the way it is.
It would have been a different ball game then. But for me, with Phillips, I'm not comparing him in any way, shape or form to Rodri, because you can't.
You can't.
Well, you can, but for the sake of this, I'm not going to. But for me, I don't think he was... I'm convinced we bought him because of the English quota that we had to fulfill. And I'm not convinced he was ever really City standard.
I don't agree, because although it was Leeds, no disrespect to Leeds, he was outstanding with what he did for Leeds. And you could see him fitting in at City quite easily. Now, for whatever reason, it's not happened. Sometimes that happens. You'll get a really, really talented player what will not fit in to another club, not just a team, another club, for whatever reason. Will Calvin Phillips fit in anywhere else? Who knows? I really hope he does for Calvin Phillips. Maybe if he went back to Leeds, you'd see the Calvin Phillips what everybody saw in him before we signed him.
No, because Leeds play differently now to how they were playing under Bielsa, and that's the thing. He was always going to be a square peg in a round hole with us, always. Because I don't, because if I'm honest, I'm not even convinced. Well, I think if Henderson's England standard, then yeah, Phillips is standard.
If Henderson's England standard, so's Paddy. Put it that way.
Hey,
exactly, but I'm not sure he's got it.
What's for mocking me?
Jack's spot on there. Jack's spot on.
I thought you fell asleep.
Manchester City don't fold. We have that winning mentality. Absolutely spot on, Jack, and that's what I was saying, mate. Where we changed it soon as they started coming on top a little bit. La di da di da. That's where we was losing the ball. That's why he brought your namesake on, mate, Jack on to steady that flow a little bit. Scrubber, Ortega started over Edison and Diaz didn't start because there was back from international duty for whatever reason, mate.
Just going back to Phillips there, Andy, and nothing will convince me otherwise. That's why Declan Rice didn't come, because he was going to be a bit
he bottled it. Declan Rice is I totally agree with you. £105 million player. Declan Rice had been looking at Rodri and going, I ain't getting much game time there because, I'm good, but...
I watched him against that Chelsea game yesterday, Arsenal and Chelsea, and for £105 million, I think Arsenal had their pants pulled down.
Yeah, but that is the going rate for an English player now because of, like Anne-Marie says, the English quota and stuff like that, which you can sort of understand. At the end of the day, it's a seller's market, in it. If you've got a really, really talented English player, it's a seller. It is a seller's market. Are you telling me Declan Rice is what £10 million worse than Jude Bellingham?
No,
different players, totally different players. So, and if I was putting £100 million down, I'd put me £100 million down on a Jude Bellingham rather than a CDM.
Well, I wouldn't actually have him anywhere near the team. He's a moaning brat. He's worse than Ronaldo.
Who's Stan?
Him too. He's just excellent at Bellingham, for he drives me off my head.
So I'll tell you what, though. Can I just say this big debate about Calvin Phillips? I think one other thing that nobody's... Well, if somebody has mentioned it, I do apologise, but I've never seen anybody say that nobody expected a jump in class from Rodri. Because he suddenly went through the roof at the beginning of last year and went through... Because you remember, it was only a couple of years ago they were talking about Ploddery and he wasn't very good and he was all this, that and the other. Maybe Calvin Phillips coming in has had that effect on him that he started, hang on a minute, I'm going to have to get me gear on here.
Do you not think
it's bad when you hear Pep, one of the greatest managers of all time, saying that he can't get the best out of Calvin Phillips?
See you, Anne-Marie.
I don't think Anne-Marie agreed with that.
No, I don't. But seriously, do you not think it's... Listen, and Stan, you make a top point there, as usual, mate. With Rodri was coming... When he joined us, was coming in with a view to dislodging Fernandinho, and everyone thought, you can't... Fernandinho was just a different gravy than anything what's around.
Yeah.
However, the difference is, I think Rodri, well, I don't think it's quite clear, had a different mentality, and Rodri knew that he was more than good enough to not only dislodge Fernandinho, but also he knew Fernandinho was more or less on his way out, for whatever reason. Whereas Calvin's just not. He's just, like you said before, he's good, Calvin, and every City fan show and stuff like that, they always get on to about Calvin Phillips. So they must be, it must be a subject what wants to be spoken about. But
if you have a player who's fairly good and has a very good understanding of football intelligence, Pep will bring that out in him. And it's just, unfortunately for Calvin Phillips, he's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. He just doesn't have that step up. Look what Pep done to John Stones. He took him there and made him that player.
Mm-hmm.
He's done the same with Walker. He's done the same with Sterling. He's done the same with Foden. Look how he nursed Foden on. You could say our players are A+, and Calvin Phillips is an A. That's how fine the margins are. He just doesn't have that football intelligence. That the movement. Watch Rodri's movement yesterday. He's unreal the way he just knows where to be to receive the ball.
Do you not think what Pardo Oaks is asking? We need to talk about Gvardiol. He's just 21.
I tell you what, he's right.
I don't know if you was on early doors, Pardo, mate, but I said I thought Gvardiol was absolutely exceptional yesterday. Not just his defending, but also his his play taken out. And Aki's got a bit of a problem there now. As much as I love Aki, because I'll be honest, when Gvardiol, I think he's took his time, to settle in a little bit. But yesterday, bloody Nora, he just looked the real deal. And Doku didn't even need to. He didn't have to get back and even do any defending yesterday because how Gvardiol was. Because Gvardiol was even. There was what was it? The second half or I can't remember first half. Gvardiol he more or less took the ball from our half, and the only thing he was short of was a shot. I think it was the second half. The only thing he was short of was a shot. It just sort of like bounced.
If anybody in the chat gets a chance, go into the Man City website and watch the interview along with Matteo when they go out in the restaurant and they're talking about football. Mm-hmm. Gaviscon has played every position on the left-hand side of that pitch.
Gaviscon.
Stan named him that. I can't get Gaviscon in my head. But he's played left midfield, he's played left forward, he's played left back. So he knows every position on the left-hand side of that pitch.
He actually used to be a winger.
Yeah.
That's why he's so, he is so talented, especially on the left. So yeah, I think Aki has got a bit of a problem there, sadly.
Well, he has. Unfortunately, he has.
I tell you what, though, he's made a good point there, Pardo, because it's brought us on. He's triggered a few things in my mind that you look at last year's squad and you look at this year's squad now, and we've got more of Gvardiol's only 21. How old's Doku? 21.
21.
How old's Alvarez?
He's only a baby.
He's 20, isn't he? I think.
No, I think is he 22, 23?
I've got socks older than them.
How old's Haaland?
21 or 22.
Yeah, 22.
How old's Foden?
He's
23.
Right. We've gone from, treble champions into morphing in under 2 months into quite a young team. And I'm beginning to think maybe, just maybe, that could impact on the discipline side of things because they've not quite got that experience yet to walk away. I know Rodri's old enough to walk away. I know Akanji's old enough to walk away. But you don't know if they're getting a little bit frustrated. We're trying to pack a lot of... We're trying to judge this team on a treble-winning team. And we're going to fall short on one or two things. But I tell you what, 3 years down the line, this team will be better than that one. I tell you that now. Because they've still got enough lads in there to pass on that knowledge. And we've got over half a spine of a team that's young enough to build on that, understand, learn, and build one hell of a team. Anyway.
So let me ask you a second, and I'll ask the guys in the chat as well. I'll go with you first, Anne-Marie.
I've just stuck up for you there, Pardo. Bloody hell, man.
People used to say that to Stan. No, I'm not. It's not 9 o'clock yet. Are we a stronger team squad than last season, Anne-Marie?
Yes.
Paddy? You've only got yes and no.
Well, I'm trying to think, Gundogan's left and Morris is left. So
I don't think you can answer that till we play crunch matches. I.e. the business end of the season where do we have that little bit of extra house to get us through games?
That's where Gundogan came into his own.
Exactly. It'll come. But I think
we do have that, and I think you only need to look at Jack and Erling when we're at the point of the game where we have to just kill the game. were looking to take the ball into the corner, which is not something we've done.
And they love that, Emery. They love it. You can see them laughing.
They do. They think it's great. And I think we do have that. And we have, even like if you think about the game against Forest, when Rodri went off just at the start of the second half, we could change and adapt enough to take it so that instead of playing the way we would normally play, we went long looking for Erling or whoever was up there at the time.
You went long last week. That's why you wasn't here, love. That's another story. Good evening, Elliot. Evening, everybody. Really happy with yesterday's performance. Doku and Foden, really good. Question for everyone. What would you change in the team Wednesday with the Rags on Sunday? I would change absolutely nothing, mate, because I'm a great believer. Like back end of last season, we stuck with the same 11, and I think that got us through games. I would do absolutely nothing. I want to come on to Phil Foden in a bit. Paddy, go on. You go first on that. Would you change anything?
No.
Why?
Because we haven't qualified for it. If you can start changing your team around if you've won the group, but like this kind of carry on. All we rest players now because it's only young boys or whatever. No, like go 4-5-0 up and then take them off, but don't start off with a weakened team.
Mm-hmm. Stan, would you change anything?
It would depend on what he's got in his head, old Pep, in it. If he's seen something in there, he'll change it. It doesn't matter. It might not be the changes that we want or expect, but if he thinks that Doku can do serious damage, then he'll play Doku. If he thinks we need to contain them, he'll play Grealish.
I think Grealish. I'd change nothing, but I can see Jack coming into it because he seems to like.
That's the other thing now. No, we've got to that. We've evolved to that point there when we say things like, "Are we going to change things?" Now, do we mean are we going to change tactics or formation a little bit, or are we going to change players? Because he can move things around, and because we've got a small squad, he's got players that can play in 2 or 3 positions. So he might pick the same 11, but not necessarily play the same way.
Just answer yes or no.
I don't know. It's pepping at Christ. Who else going to walk in his head and know what's going on?
Okay, here's one for you then. Seeing as who do we play on Wednesday, Anne-Marie? Is it Wednesday?
Young boys. And
is a trivia question for you. What's their stadium called, Anne-Marie?
It's got an offensive name that I'm not going to say.
No, I mean, it's a what? I don't know what it's called.
Isn't it called the Wankoff Stadium or something?
Wankoff.
It's called something like that.
God almighty.
It's called
the
I wasn't a million miles off, Stan, was I?
No, you did very well there. From provocation from a provocative host.
Exactly.
Who's quite happily coming on to Foden in a bit, which worried me, seeing as it's still not 9 o'clock.
No, but so in response, hang on, my response to the question about Wednesday night, I think there's one guaranteed change, and that's Edison instead of Ortega.
I think Akanji will play as well. Or not Akanji, Aki.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So, yeah, there you go. So let's talk. I want to talk a little bit.
Kev will be back. Do you think Kev will be back?
No.
Do you know why he won't be back? Because of what you said before, Andy. Because if you rush him back, he'll end up KGB. Get in. The second crap joke of the night.
I need to start bringing that bloody tumbleweed back, don't I?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Phil Foden a little bit because I think we have to. The lads took a bit of a criticism, not majorly criticism, even from Gareth Southgate. You know that Foden can't play in centre midfield. I thought he was sensational in particular in the first half yesterday. So at one point he pinged the ball over, and it was just like an unbelievable pass. But he was dogged, not dogging. He was dogged in everything what he was doing. He was beating players. His passing was absolutely Paddy. His passing was brilliant as well. Not enough credit is going to Phil for whatever reason. Why, Paddy?
I have no idea. Like, you're even going back to that spoiled brat, that moaning brat, Bellingham, when they were playing for England. Who played the ball?
Bellingham.
Who played the ball for him?
No, just like Bellingham.
What you call him? He's over my head.
What did he call him? Bellingham.
Bellingham.
I thought you said Bellingham.
But I tell Bill Foden, the Gareth Southgate, what he knows about football, you can write the back of your stamp on his name and address. He's the IQ of a peanut.
Have you noticed though, since Pep didn't? Here's one for you, Stan, because you're normally pretty clued up. I'm not saying the other two are not, right? But
you hearing this, Emery?
I'm listening.
So, Stan, when Southgate said that about Phil Foden, that he can't play in the centre, he doesn't for his club, la-di-da-di-da. Have you noticed Pep plays him in the centre now? But he didn't respond to Southgate by telling Southgate pretty much that he's talking out of his... He's a
very to be honest with you, my view on Gareth Waistcoat is there's just no point in talking to him. You might as well just talk to a wall. He's done the right thing there. Pep just totally ignored him. It's like an irritable yapping dog from next door that won't shut up at 10 o'clock at night.
See how you feel, Stan.
The guy's a balloon, honestly. I've never seen anything so insane in all my life. How he's got
what's
that
Southgate famous for apart from waistcoats?
pizza.
Pizza for missing a penalty.
Yeah, it's just it's staggering. And then he thinks he's done sort of tactile. Oh yes, we've now beaten Italy 3-1. Yes, mate, because when we told you 4 years ago, don't play Henderson, we might be a little bit better. You've suddenly had it, you know. Could have won that World Cup, but no, the waistcoat spoke. Can you imagine Pep Guardiola going to that World Cup with that England squad that we've got now, which, whether we like it or not, is really, really good, right? And not winning the World Cup? It won't happen. Wouldn't happen. But no, you know, we've got him there, haven't we? Jesus Christ, honestly. If there was a game called Where's Gareth instead of Where's Wally, nobody would care. Nobody would look for him.
I don't look where Wally is, to be honest.
No, but you just wouldn't bother with him, would you? Even where Wally fans would think, I can't be arsed looking for Gareth. Good, he's gone. I'm not going to open the book.
Right, so we've got young boys with
we've covered the changing squad, Andy. Can you move on?
Stan's covered the young boys, so we've got the derby next weekend. You're right, Stan.
Yeah, just rattling my balls. Go on.
Now then, stop it, Stan. The derby is going to be an interesting one. Not only is it going to be a bit of a, I'd say, more emotional for United as a club, you know, with the sad passing of Sir Bobby Charlton. I think it's coming at a good time for us where we've got our full strength apart from KDB back now, because before the internationals, and that's why I was saying I don't like internationals, but I thought them internationals came at the right time for us because not only that, Haaland scored in the internationals. Grealish got minutes. Stonesy got minutes. So we're good to go, aren't we? You know, for next Sunday.
But you know what they're going to do, don't you? Like, the derbies don't worry me anymore. You know exactly what United are going to do. They're going to sit back and counter-attack with Rashford. That's the game plan. And if we can nullify that, we'll win the game.
Mm-hmm. What's everyone's prediction for in the chat for the derby? You know, you don't have to put a score. Do you think we're going to? I know Did they worry you at all, because of the occasion and stuff like that? They don't worry me at all, Anne-Marie, to be honest.
Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans in the centre of the fence.
They have got. I do like the look of that Højlund, though. I think he looks potentially. I just think he has joined the wrong team. I think if he'd have joined somebody like an Arsenal, I would have been, or even a Liverpool. I would be. I'd be scratching my head thinking, maybe we've got serious challenges for the league. But Anne-Marie, did he worry you in any way, shape, or form?
My honest answer is I hate derbies.
Yep.
Regardless of how well we're playing or how they're playing, I hate derbies because there's always that element of unpredictability. But in honesty, I think we should win, and I'm going for 3-1. 3-1 City, and I think we have to play Doku.
Yeah,
I would. I'd start Doku, but that don't mean to say that Grealish can't start, because I do see Doku settling on the right for whatever reason. Now, where does that put some of the other players? It doesn't, because it's a rotation game now, so we can rotate them players however we want. And like Stan said before, we've got players who can drop into different positions. So although we've got a small squad, it looks like we've got a massive squad.
It's very, very flexible.
Interestingly enough, I bought tickets last week for the women's derby at Old Trafford on the 19th of November. I'll be at that game.
So if anybody was planning on going there, you don't need to go now, because you might bump into Anne-Marie.
And she's also told us if you can go up to her at the game and correctly identify her and say, "Are you Anne-Marie?" she'll give you a £5. I claim my £5. You've got to say that.
Is that right, Anne-Marie?
Yeah.
See, so there you go. So if anybody is going to that match, £5 is there. So yeah, did he worry you, the rags, Paddy?
If you want to speak to Anne-Marie, speak to her. She is a lovely woman. We do give her a complete lack of respect towards her. She is a lovely woman.
You do?
Thanks, man.
You do?
I do not.
No, Stan does.
Stan, he's a disaster. Tin.
Oh no, Paddy has my back. I've got total trust in Paddy.
Paddy, say that again, what women normally say to you. Tin.
It's all over.
I think it's all over. It is now. No, don't worry me.
What about the rags? Not a hope. I know what they're going to do. Same with Liverpool. Liverpool the same. Sit back and counter attack. At least Arsenal come and have a go at you.
Adam says City will win easy Wednesday 5-0. I don't see it as a great hurdle on Wednesday, if I'm being totally honest. And I do think Pep will have one eye on the derby.
Wednesday's the type of game you get ahead, you get a good bit ahead, and then you take your best players off. Stop it, Andy. Start acting your age.
I've not said a word, Anne-Marie.
It's like dealing with little kids.
Well, you will on Wednesday. I'll be young boys. What have we become?
No, what have you become? Not what have we become. I've not done anything.
Welcome to next week's Smutcast with your usual host,
Anne-Marie. I just think, right, let's go through the next couple of fixtures.
Hey, can I just say, the last time we did this, Brighton was one of them ones, and I said City Brighton would be a draw. So as far as I'm concerned, we've actually done better than I thought. So I'm quite happy with that.
So we've got Young Boys Wednesday. We've got the United on Sunday. Half 3 kickoff. That's a weird one for a Sunday, that, isn't it?
No, I think it's not a 3:30 kickoff.
It is.
Thought it was
Have you been
half-
watching them German satellite TVs again, Andy?
No, it's on the City
The
website.
2:30 kickoff.
3:30.
No, Andy.
Is that 3:30 kickoff?
It does say 3:30 kickoff. You're right.
Oh, who'd have thought it? That Andy's right.
Well, it's a miracle,
Nobody.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody would have thought it.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Which is twice as.
So we've got
Andy.
United at 3:30. Then we're at home in the 4th of November to Bournemouth, and then that takes us to the young boys again. And I tell you which I think is going to be an interesting match is against Chelsea away on the 12th of November, because a certain young Cole Palmer, he seems to be starting a lot and playing well for Chelsea.
When he took Palmer and Sterling off, the Arsenal come back into that game. If he had kept them three on, they'd have beat them.
Yep.
Tell you what though, it shows, doesn't it? Douglas Luiz, Cole Palmer, all these young guns, not quite good enough for City, but they're all right anywhere else in the Premier. That is what we have to put up with. Players that are good enough for anyone else, but just not quite good enough for us.
It's right. So yeah, I think we all hate, like Alex says, we all hate derbies, but I can't see anything but a City win there. If I'm being totally honest.
No, we've got a little anniversary tomorrow as well.
How long have we been married?
No.
All right.
It's the anniversary of the 6-1 tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I must say as well, Bert Troutman would have been 100 today. But yeah, it's the anniversary of the 6-1 tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing on the derby will be the referee.
Ethan says we will win that 8-0.
Is he on about young boys or is he on about the derby?
The derby, I think. So yeah, I'm just looking in the chat. Yeah,
Andy, don't overestimate the effect of the referee. So what happened last year? Shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah, because to be fair, even the FA Cup final, they got a dodgy penalty with the hand of Jack, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not forgetting what Rashford got away with.
Yeah.
It's gone from worrying about United and how much we'll get beat by to wondering who's going to ref it to make sure that we do win. It's unbelievable.
I know.
Don't worry, Alec. I'll be well vaccinated before I go to the swamp.
I'm just gonna keep this of Ethan on here because Ethan is absolutely spot on.
Ethan would want to put up the name of
Ethan,
his dealer.
how much is he paying you?
It's not that. If you look at it closely, that is an anagram of Andy Savage.
Sally says the clocks go back. Let's hope they won't go back far enough for when United were good though.
No, it's only an hour, not 25 years.
Foden.
Is that right, Andy? It's only an hour, not 25 years.
Absolutely, mate. So yeah, well, we'll know this time next week, won't we? That's for sure.
We will.
We need to be depressed, or we need to be depressed this time next week, or ecstatic.
I'm quite confident if I'm honest. So yeah, anything else anybody wants to bring up before?
Yeah, how are we getting on with them charges? Have we had any more yet? I'm disappointed we've not had any more added on. It's the only thing we can't. It's the only records we can't break at the moment.
Yeah, well, we broke another one yesterday, didn't we, Stan?
Yeah, we did. 21 games straight. Bang, bang, bang.
That's 3.
I did notice some particularly bitter Liverpool fans saying it's all right being 21 games on there. You played teams there that aren't. Some of them teams won't have been very good,
including them.
Right there, mate. Some of them like Leipzig and Real Madrid, who battered you 5-2 at home. You know, teams that play in the competition that you can't qualify for, those sort of teams. So, yes. You what, mate?
I just thought you had a stroke, mate. That's all.
No,
Face
no,
was all right. So anyway, we will leave it there.
It was my Klopp impression.
Is what?
My Klopp impression.
I thought you said something else then, not Klopp. Yeah, we will leave it there. Thanks. Welcome.
Anne-Marie laughing. What are you laughing at, Anne-Marie?
I'm laughing at Stan's cheapo internet.
She's laughing at I'm wondering how our lives got to this, that on a Sunday night she's here with us.
Stands to
That's
one day.
exactly it.
What decisions in life did I make to end up here? Oh dear.
Not very good ones. Right, guys, we will leave it there for this week. Again, always appreciated the guys in the chat. We always have a good giggle, you know, if nothing else. You know, it breaks the boredom up of a Sunday night. Have a fabulous week, everyone. Anne-Marie, welcome back.
Thanks, Andy.
I just said welcome back, nothing else.
Yeah, and I'm just saying thanks, Andy.
Oh, a big up to Anne-Marie being back. Stan, thank you for joining us, my friend.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Never a chore. And Paddy, thank you very much. We will do it all again next week, but with less smut, Anne-Marie. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye now.